So, a stock market crash, a kind of keyword for many to be triggered actually, right? I mean, if we are thinking about the next big crash since the financial crisis, we thought it might be the health crisis, right? So many people said this is when the world goes under. And it was actually one of the fastest crashes, yes, but it was even the most fastest recovery as well. I mean, the stock market went crazy. I mean, the S&P 500 doubled since then, and so many more things. So stay tuned to the video to understand when and why and what to do in case of a stock market crash. But before that, make sure to get this video to 500 likes, and we will talk about Warren Buffett investing into space. This will be very interesting. So let's dive into something that I really want to show you first. And this is something that is so huge, but so easy to go to: Investors Observer. As an investor, data is your best friend. And I will introduce you to Investors Observer, which is available via your desktop as an app, and also with your phone via your browser, wherever you are using, iPhone or something or anything else. And this is dramatic, okay? Because this is life-changing for an investor to use this tool, because I have seen barely anything out there that is comparable to what I will tell you what is available, okay? So compare stock, find trending stock before anyone else. And this is what Investors Observer is giving you for a very low price, even 60% off with the link in the description. Let me introduce you a little bit to this wonderful tool. So let me show you inside Investors Observer how easy it is to use and which functions you actually have. Okay, so for example, once logged in, you have the overall market sentiment. This is very helpful to understand, okay, is the market rather bullish or is it more bearish? Okay, so you have here the main indexes, and then obviously you have single stocks. So for example, you can have a look to the top stocks that are actually searched for, and then you have, for example, in the case of Apple, you can have a look what kind of score there is. And this is based on so much data, and I really like that, because in the end of the day, what is really important is not the subjective opinion about stocks, but really the data behind it. Okay, you can discuss opinions away, but you cannot discuss data away. So let's have a look. So you can here see you have a hugely data that is actually giving you, for example, ranks in consumer electronics. As you know, I love consumer companies like Netflix, Apple, Tesla, and so on. So this is very helpful for me to understand, okay, how they rank in the mind of the target group of this company. So I really like it how nicely this infographic shows you the single important parts that you should look for into stocks. And if you're going here into the options trades, you can actually, with the help of the algorithm of Investors Observer, see when to buy an option and when to sell an option, how much money you make. This is very important, because many of you guys saying, you know, I invest in a stock, yes, but I would love to leverage that and I have no idea. This is the place to start. I really recommend that. And you have also many other functions, like for example, company news all together. You can even link all your different brokerage account with Investors Observer, because then you see all of the data to your stocks, which is absolutely brilliant. I haven't seen such a great tool for a very long time. So what are you waiting for? Because you are getting actually minus 60% with the link into the description on the whole premium account. Okay, so I really like when you will click on that and check it out. And this one-time offer for Labor Day, 60% off, is really helpful. In perspective what you're getting, right? An information tool, a super important infographic, very easy to understand and use. You have this option friend that will tell you when to buy and sell options, and you have the comparison, you have the link of your brokerage account. There's so many features that are golden, okay? And for such a small price, invest something in yourself. So the link and below. Let's get back to the vlog. So, Warren Buffett is one of the most successful investors worldwide. As you know, he became a millionaire first, then a multimillionaire, then a billionaire by the age of 60 something, and now is a multi-billionaire. And if he says something, you should listen, okay? And there is one snippet, it's already a little bit older, but I feel like he's telling you exactly the wisdom that you should know, okay? Have a look what he says.
I think it's better just to own them. I mean, you know, we could attempt to buy and sell some of the things that we own that we think are fine businesses, but they're too hard to find. I mean, we found See's Candy in 1972, where we find here and there we get the opportunity to do something, but they're too hard to find. So to sit there and hope that you buy them in the throes of some panic, you know, that you sort of take the attitude of a mortician, you know, waiting for a flu epidemic or something. I mean, I'm not sure that I'm not sure will be a great technique. I mean, it may be great if you inherit it. You know, Paul Getty inherited the money at the bottom in 32. I mean, he didn't inherit it exactly. He talked his mother out of it, but yeah. It's true, actually.
Close enough.
Yeah, close enough, right? But he benefited enormously by having access to a lot of cash in the early 30s that he didn't have access to in the late 20s, and so you can get some accidents like that. But that's a lot to count on, and you know, if you start with the Dow at X and you think it's too high, you know, when it goes to 90% of X, do you buy? Well, if it does and it goes to 50% of X, it gets, you know, you never get the benefit of those extremes anyway, unless you just come into some accidental sum of money at some time. So I think the main thing to do is find wonderful businesses.
So as you can see, he's actually praising that you should find beautiful businesses, okay? And for everybody, it's differently, okay? There is companies that I don't invest in and they are booming, okay? And there is companies I invest in and some people don't invest in and they are booming, okay? So it's a little bit subjective. What is a wonderful company for you? Some people are more into dividend stocks, some people more into growth stocks, some people more into value stocks like Warren Buffett. So as you can see, it's also depending on the economy and the overall situation on the stock market, which is really, really working very well. For example, if the interest rates are very low and there's a lot of money coming into the market, then maybe growth stocks are the way to go. Value stocks are maybe in a time when Warren Buffett was really seeing bargains on the stock market many, many years ago, and dividend stocks are something for long term when you want to increase the investment, not by putting money into it, but using dividends to invest more and more and more. So it's interesting. All of three have, you know, downsides and advantages over each other, but in the end of the day, in my personal opinion, I love growth stocks, specifically in those days like the health crisis or technical advancement or very cheap money on the market. You know, you have seen the companies since we bought any of them. If it's Tesla, made a 10x so far, Beyond Meat doubled already, also Peloton doubled also almost, and Space, you know, the price when we started to buy Space was 16. So, you know, also here we get the 50% more since the purchase. So as you can see, such a performance in the last 2 years now that I'm on YouTube is tremendously, and it's showing you that, you know, it doesn't matter how negative people are on the market and the stock market, you still can beat the S&P 500 by understanding the overall market and find beautiful businesses. And that's why I'm taking Warren Buffett advice, and I don't care really when will be the correction, which we will talk about when it could be in the conclusion of this video. I'm rather concentrating to really know everything about the company, like for example space, and to really focus on that and to be always one step ahead of everyone in terms of information. And I'm learning this more and more and more. People are asking me things which I say, well, for example, a question about space, which is, do you think there will be enough people to want to have this experience? Now think about it. There's 20 million multimillionaires out there. Even if you take only 1% of it, or even 0.5% of it, then it's 100,000 people that want to make this experience. Okay, and there's only 2 companies actually that are actually offering it so far. It's Blue Origin and it's Virgin Galactic. Okay, and we are talking about 2,000 people already, very much interested into the services of Virgin Galactic, and they will need years of business to, serve them. So all in all, there will be not a demand problem, okay? I think that the problem is more the deep tech that need to be further developed, things that are now hiccups, like the FAA grounding or other things are just, small speed bumps on the way. So let us have a look what the market currently is saying and what the market in the history of Wall Street actually said about, crises, bear markets and bull markets. So first, there's actually the seasonality, okay? If you can see on this picture here, you can see that January is usually a great month. I think it has something to do with people saying, hey, I want to be financially more kind of responsible with my finances. I want to do something. I want to invest my money. So I think that's why you have a jump in January. February is lower, then March, April, and then you have the summer, which is actually quite neutral or negative. Then September usually is a very bad month. However, we know, for example, from Tom Lee, the specialist in my person, one of my favorite specialists on Wall Street, he's actually saying, and we met the parameters, then September should be a good month, and he is more worried about the October months, okay? So, and then November, December are strong months as well for the S&P 500, which is always seen as the market, okay? And then there's another graphic that I want to show you. It's actually this one, and it's showing you a huge uptrend for 10 years of S&P 500 since the financial crisis ended actually, and we really found the bottom at the S&P 500. And then you can see how many times we had bad news, okay? Let's hear, for example, European sovereign debt crisis, okay? Then we had US federal government credit rating downgraded. Then we had President Obama's second term begin and the stock market went further up. Then we had the Chinese stock market crash, crude oil plunges. We had the UK EU referendum, we had the Fed that begins rate hikes, and so we had so many bad news, but it still over the long term went up. And that's why I think the conclusion here is really find good businesses, make sure to buy every single month if it's going down, to downgrade your average price, because if it's a really great product and a great company, then one day it will be much more worth than it is today, and then you make real big bucks, like I did exactly with Tesla. With Tesla, I was down 65% until finally it picked up, and I was a little bit sad, even when I had many months to load up the boat, still sad that I couldn't load it for a couple more years even, and at some point had much more money and much more funds to go absolutely crazy. Okay, so make sure to leave me a comment what you think about this video and this kind of perspective. And with space, it stays my biggest position in my portfolio. I'm very convinced that this company is really great. I know a lot about the company because I invested a lot of research and I found that there's so much positivity into the stock. And let's see. It will take some time, it takes some patience, but until then, I can load the boat, and that makes me very, very happy.